I heard that you can build Google Chat apps that work in Gmail and Calendar.
You heard right. They are Google Workspace add-ons, and they can work across most applications, including Chat, Gmail, Calendar, and Drive.
How do I build them?
Well, let me show you how.
Welcome to the show, Pierrick. To kick things off, what do you do here at Google?
And thanks for having me, Martin. I'm a developer relations engineer on the Google Workspace team. My big focus right now is helping developers integrate AI agents for smarter automations and workflows. I've spent about 15 years in software engineering now, primarily helping developers and companies transform their processes.
That's great, because today we're talking about process automation.
Yes, and as you know, a lot happens in Drive, Gmail, Calendar, Chat, and so on. So it's a game changer that we can now build add-ons that work across all those at once, including Chat.
What does that look like from the user's perspective?
I can show you an add-on I've built. It's a travel concierge AI agent. The code is available online along with a tutorial, so anyone can build and modify it pretty easily.
Okay, I will add a link to it in the description below.
Perfect. Oh, looks like I got an email telling me to show up in Paris for work. We can use my add-on to plan that trip. I can access it directly from Gmail in the sidebar on the right. Its name is Travel ADK AI Agent.
So you built it, and then it was installed in the Workspace domain?
That is correct. Administrators can automatically install add-ons for everyone to use. Anyway, here I ask the agent to plan the trip for me, and I include the email content for context.
Very nice.
The agent retrieves the destination and the dates from the email, but I can always follow up and give more instructions if I want to. For example, I can ask the agent to change the date so that I can celebrate my birthday there as well.
That's great. And you said it works across Workspace products?
I did. This sidebar is accessible from most applications like Calendar, Drive, etc. In the specific case of Chat, it's accessible from a dedicated Chat app. In the specific case of this add-on, I even added the button Open Chat to continue the discussion there. It's the exact same agent behind the scenes, so it remembers what we said. Here it asks me where I'm leaving from. I can respond New York. It found some flight options. Air France looks good to me, so I'm going with that one. Next, it's going through the seat selection, but I will do that later. Right now, what I really want to know is whether I need a visa for this trip, so I ask the question.
Oh, right. You don't want to be turned away in immigration.
Yeah, I don't want that. Well, looks like a visa is not required for US citizens. But there is a note here saying that a specific authorization will be required in late 2026 though. The agent relies on Google search for grounding, so it can display the related sources for further research.
It's good to have the source.
It is, right? Oh, and did I tell you that the agent uses Gemini, which is multimodal? That makes it possible to send messages with pictures, for example, which can be really useful.
That looked great, Pierrick. One single add-on could help the user across Gmail and Google Chat and without losing context. Now, how are Google Workspace customers using this out in the field today?
There are two main categories of use cases, 2P for second party and 3P for third party. In the 2P category, businesses build their own add-ons. For example, an add-on can assist workers during the investigation of an in-house system incident. Or it can automatically aggregate information from multiple sources to make it much easier and efficient for employees to answer customer emails.
I like it. I wish I had that when I was responding to customer emails in my previous job.
Yeah, I feel you. And then we also have the 3P category. This is when businesses make their add-ons accessible to other organizations. For example, many use ServiceNow for AI-powered automations. Users access the virtual agent to get support and resolve issues directly from chat. Another great example is Figma, who recently added a chat app to their existing add-on for Meet and Docs. Users can now receive notifications, preview images, and manage diagram comments without leaving ongoing chat conversations, which is good.
Yeah, that does sound good. But I'm a developer. I like to see how this was built.
I know, but no worries, let me show you what's under the hood. First, here is the architecture. The user interacts with the add-on in Gmail or chat, like we saw before. Google then calls the HTTP endpoint as specified for the add-on, which is exposed by a Cloud Run service that I deploy. And my Cloud Run service then calls the agent itself, which is an ADK app running in Vertex AI agent engine.
And what does the code for the Cloud Run service look like?
Here is the entry point that is called by Google when a user sends a message from the add-on. If the event contains a chat property, we know it's a chat event. If so, we use code for extracting the payload from the chat message content.
Okay, that looks pretty similar to code I've written for regular web apps.
Yeah, it's all pretty basic stuff, and you can find code samples in the documentation. Now, we extracted the user identity and their message. It's time to retrieve any additional context from Workspace. Before we send the message to the agent, the code checks if the user selected an email, and if so, it calls extract email contents to get the subject and the body. Then, it adds that to the prompt that we eventually send to the agent.
That's how the agent saw the email that said you had to go to Paris?
Exactly. After I have deployed the Cloud Run service and the ADK app, it's time to let Google know where this add-on lives. If the add-on contains a chat app, for example, I have to go to the Cloud Console and enable Google Chat API. I enter the application info, like its name, avatar URL, and description. I enable the interactive features and allow the chat app to join spaces and conversations. And I enter the HTTP endpoint URL for my Cloud Run service.
And now you can test it yourself, right? How would you make it available to others?
For testing, I need to configure access in the Cloud Console. If I want to make it available to the internal or public marketplace, I would go through the publishing process with my IT team. When that's done, people from my organization or from any other organizations would be able to install and use my add-on.
That was a lot of useful information, Pierrick. What are the takeaways?
I think there are 4 takeaways. The first one is you can extend Workspace to make your teams more productive. The second one is there are 2 categories of use cases: build for your own organization or build for others. And the third one is an add-on can work across the most common Workspace applications such as Chat, Gmail, Calendar, Drive, Docs, and others. And last but not least, the fourth one, which is an add-on can be deployed to Google Cloud using Cloud Run and interact with agents using Vertex AI or any other agentic platforms.
Excellent takeaways. Thanks for joining me today, Pierrick.
My pleasure. I had a really good time.
And thank you, everyone, for watching. If you have any questions for Pierrick or me, please leave them in the comments. Also, I'd love to hear if this episode was useful to you. I read every single comment. Now go write some chat-enabled add-ons in Workspace. It's just a few mouse clicks away.